What if everything you've been taught about success has been a lie? What if the endless grind, the sleepless nights, the sacrifices you were told were necessary, were actually the very chains keeping you trapped? Listen closely, because what I'm about to reveal is not for everyone. Most people will reject it. Most people will run back to the comfort of struggle, but a few will understand. And for those few, everything will change. You are raised to believe results come only through effort. Work harder, hustle more, fight for love, earn your worth. That's the programming. But the universe does not reward exhaustion. The universe responds to frequency. Quantum manifestation shatters the rules you were trained to worship. It doesn't demand sweat. It doesn't demand sacrifice. It demands coherence, stillness, alignment. And here is the paradox. The easier it truly is, the more your mind will resist. Because your ego has been taught that if it isn't hard, it can't be real. This is why people fail. Not because manifestation doesn't work, but because they refuse to believe in ease. They bury it under rituals. They complicate it with rules. They turn pure alignment into another checklist. Science already knows the secret. In quantum mechanics, coherence is when particles move as one, amplifying each other into unstoppable force. Your consciousness works the same way. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align, you become a signal so powerful the field must respond. But clarity cannot exist in clutter. Your doubts scatter the signal. Your story's fragmented. The universe isn't testing you. It's mirroring. You doubt, so hear this. The life you want is waiting now. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now. And only those who dare to drop the addiction to struggle will claim it. The question is simple. Will you? Or will you keep running from the very ease that could set you free? Ask yourself, why do you feel lost even when you're doing everything right? Why do you chase harder, push further, only to find yourself back in the same circle? There is a silent truth buried beneath the noise, a hidden current you felt all along but never named, a whisper that follows you in the quiet hours, telling you there is more. That whisper is real, and it is calling you right now. 95% of everything you do is not chosen by your conscious mind. Neuroscience has proven this again and again. Bruce Lipton revealed that most of your actions, most of your thoughts, most of your choices are run by the subconscious. Think about that. 95% of your life is being steered by programs you didn't choose. And those programs are not designed for your freedom. They are designed for survival, for repetition, for the false safety of familiarity. That is why you feel stuck. That is why no matter how hard you try, you end up back in the same loop. Picture this. A student in California, smart, driven, yet lost. Every decision felt empty. Every path seemed like a dead end. Until one night he stumbled into a lecture. A talk unlike anything he had ever heard. The words pierced him like lightning. Not commands, not instructions, but whispers that reached into the deepest part of him. In that moment, everything shifted. He realized he wasn't broken. He was programmed. And programs can be rewritten. That realization changed his life. That is the power of hearing truth at the right moment. That is the power of resonance. And now it's your turn. If you feel this striking something inside you, don't dismiss it. Don't run back to the comfort of struggle. This is your moment. This is your chance to step into the frequency of who you were always meant to be. If you feel it, acknowledge it, declare it, say to yourself, I am ready. Type it now. Write it in the comments. Claim your readiness before the part of you that doubts tries to steal this moment. If this whisper has touched something deep in you, press like now, not as a click, not as a meaningless action, but as a declaration, as a signal to the universe that you are done with being trapped. that you choose alignment, because here is the truth. Most people will walk away. Most will dismiss this as nothing. And that is why most people will stay stuck, but not you. You've listened this far. You've felt it in your body. The whisper has reached you. So I ask you again, why do you think you are still being pulled back into the same loops, even when your heart is screaming for change? Why do you think the old patterns tighten their grip the moment you try to step forward? The answer is coming. And once you see it, you will never look at your life the same way again. Because your subconscious is programmed to preserve the familiar, even if the familiar keeps you in pain. Now think about that for a moment. Why do you keep circling back to the same disappointments? Why does money slip away just when you thought you had control? Why do relationships collapse in the same pattern, no matter how hard you try? Why does your career stall in the exact same place again and again? It's not bad luck. It's not weakness. It's programming that your subconscious mind has one obsession: safety. And safety to it means repetition. It will pull you back toward what you already know, even if what you know hurts you. That is why people stay in jobs they hate. That is why people repeat toxic love stories. That is why the same financial struggles echo year after year. Your subconscious runs your life like an autopilot system. Neuroscience reveals that over 90% of what you do, say, and even think each day comes not from conscious choice, but from patterns carved into your brain. Hebb's research in 1949 made it clear: neurons that fire together wire together. Every time you repeat an emotional response, every time you relive fear or doubt, those pathways grow stronger until they feel like the only truth. This is why you feel trapped. This is why you feel stuck in loops that seem unbreakable. Because deep inside, your subconscious is fighting for the old story, the predictable story, the safe story. But ask yourself, safe for who? Safe for what? Safe for the part of you that fears change. Safe for the part of you that confuses struggle with worth, but never safe for your dreams. Never safe for your expansion. Imagine this: a worker in New York, ambitious, capable, always on time, always pushing for the next promotion. Yet every single time an opportunity arose, something went wrong. A mistake, a hesitation, a sudden flood of fear. Until one day, he realized the truth. It wasn't his boss holding him back. It wasn't his lack of talent. It was his subconscious, feeding him the same silent message: you're not ready, stay where it's safe. That realization broke the spell. Because once you see the program, you can begin to rewrite it. But until you see it, the loop repeats. You'll work harder, but find yourself back where you started. You'll love deeply, but attract the same heartbreak. You'll plan carefully, but watch the same outcome unfold. So ask yourself now, how many years have you been repeating the same story? How many times have you promised yourself that this time it would be different, only to feel the chains pull you back? The subconscious is powerful, but it is not invincible. The first step is recognition, to see the invisible enemy within. 2, name the force that drags you back. And the second step is declaration, to choose right here, right now, to break the loop. If this message resonates, do not let it pass. Mark this moment. Say to yourself, enough. And if you feel it, type it now. Comment the words, break the loop, not as empty words, but as a signal, a line drawn in the sand, a choice to no longer obey the programming that has kept you small. Because this is not just about you. Every time you break a subconscious pattern, you change the frequency you send out. You shift what the universe mirrors back to you. The loop thrives on your silence. It thrives on your ignorance. But the moment you expose it, it weakens. The moment you declare your freedom, it cracks. So let me ask you again. How long will you let a silent program dictate your future? How long will you trade your dreams for the comfort of old fears? Your subconscious is strong, but you are stronger. The loops are familiar, but they are not your destiny. The truth is simple. If you do nothing, nothing changes. The loop will keep spinning. The same problems will keep returning. But if you dare to see the pattern, if you dare to speak it out loud, you begin to shatter its whole dot. So listen carefully. You were not born to repeat history. You were born to write a new story. You were not born to circle the same track. You were born to break through. And it begins the moment you say, break the loop, type it, claim it, own it. Feel it echo in your chest as you declare it, because this is more than a comment. This is a statement to your subconscious. This is a signal to the universe. The question is no longer if the loop exists. You already know it does. The question is, will you finally step outside it? So I leave you with this. The patterns that held you yesterday do not have to define your tomorrow. The loops that trapped you are not your prison. They are simply the remnants of old programming. And now the door is open. But only you can walk through it. So ask yourself with honesty, how do you step beyond the outdated script? How do you rise above the program that clings to the past? The answer is waiting. And once you take the first step, the loop will never hold you again. So tell me now, will you choose to break it? Or will you let it choose for you? Every choice you observe is a doorway opening into a new reality. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to shift their entire lives overnight? Why a single decision, a single moment of awareness, suddenly rewrites the future? What if I told you the same power is in your hands right now? You are not bound. You are not chained. You are standing in front of infinite doors. And the only thing that matters is which one you choose to see. This is not fantasy. This is physics. In the quantum world, every possibility exists at once. Every path, every outcome, every version of you is alive in potential. This is called superposition. Imagine flipping a coin and holding it midair. It is not heads or tails. It is both. Everything is available until your observation collapses it into one dot, and here comes the shocking truth. Your attention is the key. What you choose to look at becomes real. What you refuse to see remains hidden. This is the observer effect. The simple act of observing changes the outcome. Science has proven it. The double-slit experiment with electrons showed that when no one was watching, particles behaved like waves, exploring every possibility. But the moment an observer looked, they collapsed into one path. Awareness changed reality. Observation created form. Now imagine this applied to your life. Every thought, every belief, every expectation is like that observer. When you expect failure, your reality collapses around failure. When you expect love, your reality bends toward love. When you expect struggle, struggle becomes the door you walk through. Do you see it? You are not trapped. You are choosing without realizing you are choosing. And the subconscious programs you carry are choosing for you. But once you awaken, once you take back your observation, you take back your power. A teacher in Texas lived this shift. For years he felt stuck, weighed down by routine, teaching the same lessons, earning the same paycheck, watching his dreams fade. Until one day he heard the truth, that his attention was creating his experience. He realized he wasn't trapped in a broken system. He was trapped in his focus. He began to see opportunity where before he only saw barriers. He observed possibility instead of limitation. Within a year, his career transformed, his income multiplied, his purpose reignited, not because the world changed, but because his observation changed. And now it is your turn. You are standing in. front of the same field of infinite doors. The universe is not withholding. It is waiting. It waits for you to decide what you will observe, what you will claim, what you will align with. So let me ask you, which door have you been staring at? The one labeled fear? The one labeled lack? The one labeled unworthy? And what would happen if today, in this moment, you chose to shift your gaze? The power of quantum manifestation is not in effort. It is not in force. It is in clarity. To hold your awareness steady on the reality you choose. To see it so clearly that the field cannot ignore you. To align your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions into coherence. When particles move in coherence, even the smallest force becomes unstoppable. When your being moves in coherence, your signal becomes undeniable. You do not chase. You attract. You do not struggle. You allow. You do not force doors to open. You realize they were always open, waiting for your focus dot. So here is the moment of truth. Do you want to keep collapsing into the same painful patterns? Or do you want to open the door you were meant to walk through? This is not about waiting for magic. This is about understanding how the universe already works. You don't attract what you fight for. You attract what you observe, what you embody, what you know yourself to be. If you feel this, declare it. Write it now. Type the words, "Consciousness is power," not as a phrase, but as a decision, as a signal, as a shift in frequency, because most people will not do this. Most will keep looking at the same door, the door of fear, because it is familiar. And that is why most will repeat the same story, but not you. You are hearing this because you are ready to turn your gaze dot, so listen carefully. Every choice you observe opens a reality. And today, a door is waiting for you. Will you look at it? Will you step through? Or will you let your old focus collapse you back into what you already know? The field is waiting. The doors are infinite. And the key has always been your attention dot. So I leave you with this. You are not a prisoner. You are an observer. And the world you see next will be the one you choose to see. Type it now. Consciousness is power. Claim it, step through, and ask yourself this. Now that the doors are open before you, what is truly stopping you from walking into the reality you were born to live? Fear is not the enemy. It is the signal inviting you to grow. But tell me this. How many times has fear stopped you from stepping forward? How many times has it whispered in your ear, warning you to stay small, warning you not to take the risk, warning you that failure or judgment is waiting on the other side? What if fear was never meant to hold you back? What if fear was a compass, a sign pointing you exactly where you need to go? You feel it when you stand on the edge of opportunity. Your heart races, your hands sweat, your mind screams no. But in that very moment, something deeper is calling you yes. Fear has always been painted as the villain, the dark force keeping you in chains. But what if it is the opposite? What if it is the teacher, dressed in disguise, waiting for you to recognize its lesson? Science proves fear is not random. Joseph Ledoux from New York University mapped how the amygdala processes fear. It is not trying to destroy you. It is trying to protect you, to keep you alive, to stop you from danger. But here's the truth. In the modern world, most of your fears are not about survival. They are about growth. The amygdala does not know the difference between a wild animal and a business pitch, between a life or death chase and the trembling before you speak your truth. To your brain, both feel the same. Both light up the alarm. And yet, the second one is not a threat. It is an invitation. Can you see it now? Fear is energy. It rises when you are standing at the threshold of expansion. It shows you the path that matters. Because the very thing you are most afraid of is often the exact thing that will set you free Think about your own life. How many times did fear stop you from speaking, from acting, from creating? And how many regrets were born from that silence? Now imagine if you had acted. Imagine if you had leaned into fear instead of retreating from it. How different would your life look today? A woman in Silicon Valley lived this truth. She failed again and again in her startups. Each collapse brought more fear. Each setback screamed quit. But instead of running, she listened. She asked herself, what is fear teaching me? She saw it not as a wall, but as a map. And that shift changed everything. She built her next company not in spite of fear, but because of it. Today, her success is not the absence of fear. It is the mastery of it. That is the power waiting for you. Fear is not proof you should stop. Fear is proof you are exactly where you need to be. So let me ask you directly. What would your life look like if you stopped running from fear? What doors would open if you recognized it as your guide? This is the moment to decide. Most people will run back to safety. Most will listen to fear's warning and retreat. But you are not most people. You are hearing this because you are ready to see fear differently. If this resonates with you, declare it. Type it now. Write the words, I choose courage. Not as empty text, but as a statement to yourself, to your subconscious, to the universe. Because fear loses its grip the moment you face it. It shrinks the moment you name it. And it transforms the moment you accept it as your teacher. So I ask you again, how long will you let fear dictate your path? How long will you trade your dreams for the comfort of false safety? Fear is not the enemy. It is the threshold, the test, the fire that forges you into who you were meant to become. Every great breakthrough is on the other side of fear. Every bold step forward requires you to listen to its signal and still walk ahead. Do not run from the shaking hands. Do not run from the racing heart. See them as proof you are alive. Proof you are standing at the doorway of growth. So claim it. Now say it with me. I choose courage. Let those words echo inside you. Let them replace the story that fear has control, because the truth is clear. Fear will always be there, but it does not have to rule you. It can serve you. It can guide you. It can point you toward the life you came here to live. The invitation is here. The signal is clear. Fear is calling you to rise. And the only question that remains is this. If you do not act now, how much longer will fear hold you back? This moment is the only bridge that carries you from dream to reality. How many times have you told yourself you will start tomorrow? How many times have you waited for the perfect timing, the perfect plan, the perfect feeling? And how many times has tomorrow arrived only to look exactly the same as yesterday? The truth is simple. Delay is a thief. Procrastination is the silent killer of dreams. Every time you hesitate, you give your power away. Every time you wait, the bridge grows weaker until it disappears. You think you need more clarity, more courage, more preparation. But what if you don't? What if everything you need is already in this moment? Action is the ignition. It doesn't wait for confidence. It creates confidence. It doesn't wait for the plan. It builds the plan. The first step is not the result. The first step is the signal, the declaration, the proof to your mind, to your body, to the universe that you are moving. Mel Robbins proved this with the 5-second rule. Count backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Move. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for permission. Move before doubt steals your fire. This rule has changed millions of lives because it turns hesitation into momentum. It turns thought into reality. Think of the young man in Chicago. Depression had gripped him. Every day felt heavy. Every night felt endless. He wanted change, but he could not move until he tried the rule. One morning, when the alarm rang, he counted. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He stood. Up. The act was small, but it was the crack that broke the wall. Day after day, he used it. To get up, to exercise, to apply for work, to reach out for connection. Within months, his life transformed. Not because of giant leaps, but because of tiny acts claimed in the moment. And you are standing in that moment right now. This is your bridge. The dream you carry will not wait forever. The opportunity will not circle back endlessly. You feel the urgency because it is real. This is not fear. This is the pulse of destiny calling you to step forward, Dot. So let me ask you, what are you waiting for? What story have you been telling yourself about why you cannot act now? That you need more time? That you need more strength? That you need more approval? Strip it away. None of it is true. The only thing you need is the decision to move in this moment. The future is not created someday. It is created now. In the instant, you choose action over hesitation. In the instant, you silence the voice of delay and answer the call of momentum. Dot. So hear this clearly. Every second you hesitate, your brain builds resistance. Every second you wait, the comfort of inaction grows stronger. But every second you act, you break the cycle. You weaken the old pattern. You reclaim your authority. Dot. If you feel this truth pressing against your chest, do not let it pass. Declare it now. Type the words right now. Not as an empty phrase, but as a promise. As a contract between you and the life you deserve. Because most people will keep waiting. They will keep promising themselves that tomorrow will be the day. And years will slip away. But you are not most people. You are hearing this because your moment has arrived. Dot. Do not miss it. Do not trade it for excuses. This is the bridge. This is the door. This is the spark. And it only exists here. In this breath. In this heartbeat. Dot. So I ask you one final question. If you do not act now, how much longer will you let hesitation steal the life you are meant to live? The choice is yours. The moment is now. The bridge is waiting. Dot. Will you cross it? You are not a victim of destiny. You are the designer of it. But have you ever stopped and asked yourself, who told you otherwise? Who convinced you that life was written before you ever had a chance to live it? Who taught you that fate was fixed, that your story was sealed, that you had no choice but to accept what was handed to you? What if that was the greatest lie you were ever sold? Look around you. Some people rise from nothing and create lives beyond imagination. Others stay stuck, repeating the same stories generation after generation. If destiny was truly fixed, how do you explain that difference? The answer is simple. Awareness, consciousness, choice. Your consciousness is not passive. It is not a spectator. It is the creative force shaping your reality, moment by moment. In the quantum world, everything is possibility. Every outcome exists until observation collapses it. And what is observation? It is your awareness, your focus, your belief. Dot. This is not philosophy. This is science. Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff proposed the Orco-R theory, showing that consciousness itself may arise from quantum processes inside your brain. Tiny events at the level of microtubules, entangled, connected, responding to fields of possibility. Your awareness is not just neurons firing. It is quantum. It is creative. It is the bridge between the infinite field and the physical world. Dot. Think about what this means. Every thought you hold, every story you repeat, every belief you refuse to release, all of it becomes the blueprint your reality follows. You are not trapped. You are building the walls around yourself, brick by brick, thought by thought. And the moment you shift awareness, the walls fall. Consider the story of a veteran in Los Angeles. He carried trauma, pain, shadows that haunted him after war. Doctors gave him labels. Systems gave him pills. Nothing changed until he began to rewrite his own story. He sat down with pen and paper and chose to see himself not as broken, but as reborn. He reframed the nightmares into lessons, the fear into fuel. Slowly, his mind followed. His body followed. His reality followed. Today, he lives not as a prisoner of memory, but as a creator of destiny. His breakthrough came not from outside, but from inside. And you are no different. You may feel life has pinned you down. That fate has tied your hands. That destiny has sealed your path. But the truth is sharper than that. Destiny does not happen to you. Destiny happens through you. Every thought, every word, every decision is a brushstroke on the canvas of your reality dot. So ask yourself, what picture have you been painting? Is it the one you want to live in, or the one you were conditioned to repeat? This moment is not small. This moment is a crossroad. And right now, you are holding the pen. Right now, you are the architect, the builder, the creator. But here is the challenge. Most people will hear this truth and do nothing. They will nod. They will agree. Then they will go back to living like victims, blaming luck, blaming fate, blaming others. And by doing so, they hand their power away. Do not be one of them. If this message strikes a chord, act on it now. Type the words, I create reality, not as empty letters on a screen, but as a declaration to yourself, to your subconscious, to the universe itself. Because when you claim it, you shift your frequency. You step out of victimhood and into authorship. You stop asking life for permission and begin giving life direction. Remember this. Consciousness is not a mirror. It is a projector. It does not reflect reality. It casts it. What you embody, you experience. What you expect, you invite. What you believe, you become. The world is not testing you. The world is responding to you. Every event, every opportunity, every obstacle is shaped by the vibration you carry. Change the vibration, and the world must follow. So I will ask you, directly, how long will you keep surrendering to a story that was never yours? How long will you keep repeating the same script when you could write a new one? The field of infinite potential is waiting. The pen is already in your hand. The only question is whether you will use it, declare it, live it, prove it. You are not a victim. You are the designer. And if you believe it, type it now. I create reality. Let those words become the first line of your new chapter. But I leave you with this question. In a world full of noise, distractions, and voices competing for your attention, how will you uncover the sound of your true voice? How will you find the frequency that belongs only to you? Inside you, there is a quiet voice, and that voice is your higher self. But how often do you hear it? How often does that whisper get drowned out by the noise of the world, by the endless scrolling, by the comparisons, by the pressure to perform, by the voices outside telling you who you should be? What if the very peace you've been searching for has been inside you all along? What if the clarity you crave is not something to find, but something to remember? You live in a world designed to distract you. Notifications pull your attention every few seconds. Opinions flood your mind before you even know what you think. And in that storm, you lose touch with the one voice that matters most. The false self thrives in that storm. The false self is loud. It is hungry for approval. It needs to be seen, validated, praised. It is built from what others think of you, not from who you really are. But your higher self is different. It does not shout. It does not beg. It waits in the stillness. It waits in the silence. It waits for you to turn inward and listen. Science has shown this is more than philosophy. Research from Harvard on mindfulness revealed that meditation literally reshapes the brain. It strengthens regions connected to self-awareness and compassion. It weakens the grip of fear and reactivity. The practice of silence changes you at the level of structure. God, think about that. Silence does not just calm you. It rewires you. It builds the bridge back to your higher self. There was a CEO in New York who lived this transformation. He had everything. On the outside, money, influence, recognition. But inside, he was restless, sleepless, empty. The louder his world became, the more he lost himself. Until he turned to meditation. At first, it was unbearable. The silence felt heavy. The mind screamed. But slowly, the noise settled. He began to hear the quiet voice. It told him what mattered. It told him who he was. And from that place, he rebuilt his life, not chasing status, but choosing meaning. Peace followed. Success deepened. This is the invitation for you to step beyond the false self, to return to the higher self. So I ask you directly, when was the last time you gave yourself permission to be still? When was the last time you closed your eyes and listened without distraction? The higher self is not far. It is here. It has always been here. It is the part of you that knows without fear, that acts without doubt, that speaks without needing applause. But here is the challenge. Most people will never hear it. They will stay consumed by noise. They will confuse the false self for the real one. And they will wonder why peace never comes. Do not let that be you. If you feel this call, claim it. Write it now. Type the words, I listen to the voice within. Let that be your signal, your declaration that you are ready to tune back in. Because when you listen to that voice, life changes. Decisions become clearer. Relationships become deeper. Work becomes meaningful. Not because the world has changed, but because you are living from alignment. The false self will always chase. The higher self simply is. The false self demands. The higher self creates. The false self exhausts you. The higher self restores you. So which self will you choose to follow? Which voice will you allow to guide your next step? The world outside will always compete for your attention. But the truth is, peace does not live out there. Power does not live out there. They live inside. In that quiet voice waiting for you to notice. And once you notice, once you connect, you will never be the same. So hear this clearly. You do not need to become someone else. You need to return to who you already are. You need to remember the voice you silenced to fit in. You need to trust the wisdom that has always been with you. Take this moment. Take this breath. And know the higher self is speaking. Write it now. I listen to the voice within. Declare it. Feel it. Allow it to guide you. Because soon another question will rise. Once you have connected to that silence, once you have remembered who you are, how will you bring that voice into the world? How will you turn stillness into action? The answer is waiting. And the next step begins now. Procrastination is not laziness. It is a signal that you are not living in the right frequency. But ask yourself this. How many opportunities have you lost because you hesitated? How many doors closed while you were waiting for the perfect moment? How many times have you looked back and thought, if only I had acted sooner? What if procrastination is not your weakness? What if it is your compass? A message from your inner world telling you that something is out of alignment. Think carefully. When you delay, is it really because you are lazy? Or is it because deep down, your heart is not resonating with the path in front of you? Procrastination is not a problem of discipline. It is a problem of emotion. Piers Steele and the procrastination equation showed that delay is tied to how you feel, not how strong your willpower is. When you are uninspired, when you are disconnected, Your system resists. Your body stalls. Your mind distracts. It is not punishment. It is feedback. So the question is not, how do I force myself to move? The real question is, what frequency do I need to tune into so that action becomes natural? Because when you align, you don't fight procrastination. You dissolve it. You don't need to push yourself forward. You are pulled forward. Picture this. A student at Yale struggled for years with procrastination. Assignments piled up. Deadlines loomed. Opportunities slipped away. He felt broken. He felt lazy. But then he discovered the truth. His delays were not signs of failure. They were signals of misalignment. He began to study what excited him, what resonated with his higher purpose. Suddenly, the paralysis melted. He worked with energy. He acted with clarity. He became a respected researcher, not because he conquered procrastination, but because he listened to what it was trying to say. And now the same truth is here for you. What if every delay in your life was not an enemy, but a teacher? What if procrastination was pointing you to the places where your soul is saying, not this, not yet, not aligned? Can you feel the shift in perspective? This is your invitation to stop blaming yourself, to stop labeling yourself as lazy, to start listening, to start asking, what is the message hidden inside this delay? Because once you know, you can move. And when you move from alignment, procrastination cannot hold you. But here's the danger. If you ignore the signal, you will repeat the cycle. You will delay. You will hesitate. You will miss opportunities. And time will slip through your fingers like water. So the choice is urgent. Will you keep calling yourself lazy? Or will you see the truth? That procrastination is your body's way of saying, change frequency, adjust direction, find resonance. If this truth speaks to you, declare it now. Write it, type the words, I choose, to move forward, not as empty text, but as your first step, as your signal that you will no longer confuse delay with weakness, because hesitation is expensive. It costs you dreams. It costs you love. It costs you the life you were meant to live. But clarity is priceless. And clarity comes when you listen to the signals your system is sending. So let me ask you again. How many more moments will you give away to procrastination before you decide to act? How many more times will you let fear disguise itself as waiting? Procrastination is not the end. It is the invitation. The question is, will you answer it? The truth is clear. You are not lazy. You are misaligned. And alignment is always within reach. So hear this. The very fact that you are listening now is proof that you are ready to shift, ready to step into the frequency of movement, ready to step out of delay and into creation. Type it. Claim it. Say it now. I choose to move forward. And as you declare it, let me leave you with this final question. If procrastination is not your enemy, but your signal, then what is the first step you must take to begin living as the creator you were born to be? You are the main character of the journey, not a bystander. But have you forgotten that? Have you allowed yourself to believe you are just a spectator, watching life unfold as if the story belonged to someone else? How many times have you stood on the sidelines, convinced the adventure was not meant for you? What if I told you the story was always yours? That you were never the extra, that you were never the shadow, that you were always the hero. Every great myth whispers the same truth. From ancient legends to modern tales, the pattern repeats. Joseph Campbell called it the monomyth, the hero's journey, a path carved into the soul of humanity itself. And you are walking it right now. The hero begins in the ordinary world. Life feels predictable, safe, but then comes the call. A whisper, a challenge, a chance to step into something greater. At first, the call is resisted. Fear rises. Doubt shouts. You wonder, am I enough? But destiny does not retreat. The call returns, louder, sharper, demanding your answer. When you say yes, the adventure begins. Trials appear. Tests arrive. You face obstacles, not because you are weak, but because you are being shaped. The road is not punishment. The road is initiation. Every challenge carves you into who you were meant to be. And at the center of it all, you meet the dragon, the darkest fear, the deepest wound, the shadow you thought would destroy you. But here lies the paradox. When you face it, when you embrace it, the dragon becomes your power, the shadow becomes your strength, and you return transformed. This is not a fairy tale. This is your life. Think of the immigrant who arrived in America with nothing. No money, no language, no safety net. Only obstacles, only closed doors. But he chose to see himself as the hero, not the victim. He worked, he studied, he fought through. Rejection after rejection. Every trial was another test. Every failure, another lesson. And eventually, he rose. He built success, respect, a life that others said was impossible. Not because he was special, but because he stepped fully into his role as the main character of his story. And now the spotlight turns to you. How long will you pretend the story belongs to someone else? How long will you play the role of the observer while your destiny waits? The truth is clear. You are not watching the movie. You are living it. Every choice you make writes the script. Every step you take builds the arc. Every moment of doubt, every surge of courage, every fall and every rise, it is all part of the journey. So let me ask you, what chapter are you in right now? Are you still resisting the call? Are you stuck in the trials, forgetting that transformation is ahead? Or are you standing at the threshold of the breakthrough that will redefine you? This is your chance to decide. Most will stay passive. Most will keep waiting for permission to be the hero. But not you. You are here because the call has reached you. The words you hear now are not coincidence. They are the voice of the journey itself, reminding you who you are. If you feel this truth vibrating inside, declare it. Say it now. Write the words, I am the main character. Not as empty words, but as your oath, as your step into authorship, as your refusal to live as a background role in your own life. Because here's the secret. Heroes are not chosen. Heroes are revealed. And the revelation comes the moment you stop hiding and step forward. The trials will come. The dragons will roar. The shadows will rise. But none of them are greater than the hero you are becoming. The question is simple. Will you rise into your role? Or will you let the story pass you by? Unwritten, unfinished, unlived? Life is not waiting for another hero. It is waiting for you. So hear this again. You are the main character of the journey, not a bystander. The sooner you claim it, the sooner the path opens. Type it. Claim it. Say it with conviction. I am the main character, because every hero's journey begins with a declaration, and this is yours. But remember, no hero walks alone. Every journey needs allies. Every story needs a circle of support. So let me ask you now, on your path, as you rise into the role you were born to play, who will walk beside you? Who will lift you when you fall? Who will remind you of your power when you forget? Because every hero needs a community, and that is where the next chapter begins. You are not alone. Every person who chooses awakening is already converging. But have you ever felt it? That quiet ache of walking this path and believing you are the only one? That loneliness that whispers, maybe you are different, maybe you don't belong, maybe no one else could possibly understand. What if that was never true? What if every time you felt isolated, there were others feeling the same pull? the same calling, the same awakening. You are not walking in silence. You are part of a rising chorus. The truth is this: awakening is not a private path. It begins within, but it blooms when shared. Because your consciousness is not separate, it is connected. Your energy is not contained. It resonates. Science has shown this. Mirror neurons, discovered in neuroscience, reveal that when one person feels, another person mirrors it. When one person acts, another person's brain lights up as if they acted too. This is why connection feels so powerful. It is not imagination. It is wiring. We are designed to awaken together. So think of what this means. Every step you take toward truth does not just shift you. It shifts those who see you. It shifts those who feel you. It shifts the collective field. Consider what happened in Seattle. A small group of people, each struggling in silence, each believing they had to carry their pain alone. Then they found each other. They began meeting, talking, sharing. They cried together. They meditated together. They supported each other through crisis. And slowly, what felt unbearable alone became transformable together. They rose, not as individuals fighting separate battles, but as a community, holding each other in strength. And that is what is being offered to you right now. Do you see it? The invitation is not only to awaken, but to unite, to step into a circle of others who carry the same fire, to feel the power of resonance, of knowing you are part of something greater than yourself. Because here is the secret. Growth without community is fragile. It bends under pressure. It breaks in isolation. But growth with community is unstoppable. When one falls, another lifts. When one doubts, another believes. When one falters, another reminds them who they are. This is why you are hearing these words. To remember that you are not alone, that your awakening is not just for you. It is for us. So let me ask you, who in your life needs this message? Who else is waiting for the reminder that they too belong to something greater? Do not keep it to yourself. Share it, pass it on. Because when you do more than spread words. You spark recognition. You open the door for another to step into the circle. If you feel this truth, take action now. Share this video with one person you love. One person who is ready to hear it. One person who is walking but does not yet know they are part of a tribe. Because most people will stay silent. They will keep their awakening hidden, afraid others won't understand. But not you. You are here to connect. You are here to gather. You are here to be part of the rising community of creators. Type it now. Say it with conviction. I am not alone. Share it with someone else and let them remember too. The time for isolation is over. The time for community is now. Together, we amplify. Together, we accelerate. Together, we rise. And the question I leave you with is this. When we finally come together, when we live not as separate sparks, but as a united flame, what will become possible? What transformation will unfold when we live by this new wisdom, not alone, but as one? When you choose action, you do not just change yourself. You change the reality around you. But do you feel it? Do you sense the weight of this moment pressing on you? The realization that the step you take now is not small, but the doorway to an entirely new life? How many times have you dreamed of freedom, only to wake up in the same patterns? How many times have you imagined happiness, only to settle for less? What if all of that ended here? This is not just about you transforming. It is about the world transforming through you. Because when you rise, everything shifts. Your relationships, your opportunities, even the way life responds to you. Positive psychology has proven this. Martin Seligman's research revealed that true flourishing is not about avoiding pain, but about living with meaning, engagement, and authenticity. When you live from this place, your happiness is not temporary. It becomes your natural state. Imagine what that looks like for you. A life where you no longer hide behind fear. A life where your voice is free, your choices are bold, your presence radiates. Imagine walking into every day knowing you are aligned, knowing you are creating, knowing you are alive. This is not fantasy. This is what happens when you act. A family in Florida once lost everything during a financial collapse. Fear consumed them. Conflict tore them apart. But instead of giving in, they chose a new story. They redefined what mattered. They acted not from scarcity, but from purpose. They began rebuilding together, step by step. Today, they are not just stable. They are thriving. Their bond is deeper. Their joy is stronger. Their life is richer than before the crisis. They did not just survive. They flourished. And this can be your story too. But here is the question. Will you keep this awakening to yourself? Or will you step fully into it, declare it, and let it ripple into every corner of your life? You are not here by accident. You were guided here. You heard these words because something inside you was ready. The old chapter has ended. The new one is waiting, God. So I invite you to make your declaration now. Type it with your own hands. Write the words, I am the Creator. Let this be your stamp, your mark, your confirmation that you are stepping into your new life. And if this message has spoken to you, let it speak through you. Press like right now, not as a click, but as your signal of resonance. Subscribe so that you stay connected to this journey. Share this video with someone you love, because they too are waiting for the reminder that they are not powerless. They too are ready to awaken. This is how community forms. This is how movements begin. One act, one choice, one declaration. Do not let this be another moment that passes. Anchor it now. Lock it in. Claim it in front of yourself, in front of this community, in front of the universe. Say it. Write it. I am the Creator. Because here is the truth. Once you act, once you align, once you step forward, there is no going back. The new life becomes inevitable. The happiness becomes natural. The fear dissolves. The doubt fades. The Creator within you takes the lead. So I ask you one last time, with all urgency and all clarity, are you ready to step into your new chapter? Are you ready to stop watching and start living? The bridge is here. The choice is yours. And the time is now.